Hello, everyone, and welcome to the David Goodman Reality and Truth Show. My name is Vanita Lambert, and I am the host of this show. I have the honor of hosting this show every single week and bringing on wonderful guests that shares wonderful information. And today we have Dr. Immaculate Can. She is a Chief Nursing Officer at Silver Hill Hospital. She's going to be joining us today once again. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. I am just so honored to always share this space with you. And I just don't know how much to express gratitude for being here.
Well, I thank you for coming on, and I'm sure our audience will too, because today our subject is going to be, we're going to be talking about the upcoming elections and voting and all of the information you have to share. I'm not going to jump ahead because she's the expert. So just tell our audience a little bit about yourself, and then let's get right into it, because I know you have a lot to cover.
Absolutely.
It is so important.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I have the tremendous honor serving as the Chief Nursing Officer at Silver Hill Hospital. So today I am going to be really talking about civic engagement. I would love to come back to perhaps talk about domestic violence maybe one day, and talk about breast cancer awareness, because it really impacts a lot of us, and which is why I'm wearing pink. But that's another subject for another day. So today is about civic engagement, and as you indicated, it's also about participation in the election process. So with that said, I am going to start by really making an appeal to our audience about the power of participation. I cannot stress enough how every vote counts. I have seen individuals who won their election by one vote. And I can speak from personal experience. When my husband ran for town council the first time, he lost by 4 votes.
Oh my goodness.
So that was painful. But after that, he went on to run again, and he won by a landslide of 250 votes because it taught us a lesson. It taught us the lesson of really getting out the votes and getting people to be engaged in the power of participation. Another thing that I would like to indicate is that local elections, your local elections, those elections really matter. Those are the elections that's going to impact you the most. Those are the elections that's going to impact your pocketbook, your taxes, your school system, you know, what business is coming into your space within your town. So I cannot stress enough the importance of local election.
And and just let me piggyback off of that. Growing up here in Bridgeport in the inner city, we always thought that, you know, the presidential election was the big one. You know, our parents would go and vote for that. I personally never understood the importance of local voting until I became an adult.
Yes.
And it is so important. You know, the school board, everything.
Absolutely.
How it affects you. Like if you're driving down the street and you hit a pothole, you're not going to call the president.
No. And the president is not going to want to hear from you either.
You wouldn't get through for that. He'll be like, a pothole. No.
Yes.
So you're going to call your local council person and, you know, go through them. And they're the ones that will do something about it.
Absolutely. They have your direct back.
Exactly.
And they have your voice. So it's so important that you really get to know who they are. You get to know what they represent. And most importantly, don't forget, they represent you. You know, you're the one who's giving them the power to be your voice at town hall.
That's right.
You know, so the more that they get to see you, the more that they get to know who you are, the more important it is, you know. So moving on, I would also like to stress of being an informed voter. You know, I know it's a popularity contest sometimes. Name brand matters, name recognition matters. But I think what's really important or for the voters to be very informed. Are those individuals that you are voting for, are they representing your interest? Are they representing what you would like for them to represent? Have they proven themselves? Because we tend to go to the lever and we just keep pulling the lever for the same individuals because we know the name brand and so on and so forth. But, to me is, no, it's a job.
Exactly.
It's a job. They are applying for a job. Every single time someone is running for office, it's a job.
That's a great analogy.
Yes.
They're applying for a job, and you need to make sure that this person that's applying for the job, their policies line up with your beliefs.
Absolutely.
That's so
Absolutely.
important.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in leadership positions, which you are and I am, I'm not going to hire someone who cannot get the job done.
That's right.
And if the person is not getting the job done, it's time to go.
Well, that's one way of putting it. You're fired.
It is. It's time to go. You have to get the job done. And I think oftentimes people don't realize that it is a position that you're applying for. We, as the voters, we are the ones who are making the decision whether you get the job or not. And you have to prove yourself. So please do not go to the polls and do not really vote for someone because you know them, because they have the name brand, because they've been in the position for a while, and because you feel sorry for them. No,
Don't do that.
no, you will never hire that person if you were in a leadership position.
That is
and
so
that's the
true.
same analogy.
And
that I
don't
would
do
like
it
to.
because someone else wants you to do it.
Yes.
You have to have your own reason to do it.
Absolutely.
And then once you vote for that person, okay, once they get the job, you need to hold them accountable.
Yes.
And keep that in mind for the next election. So do you want to keep them in that job or do you want to fire them, as you just stated?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So-
because the thing is, when they're applying for this job and they get the job, what kind of games are you playing? Are you going to just go and play politics, or are you going to really work? Work on behalf of making the community a better place to live, work on behalf of your children, the school system,
The schools, yep.
Et cetera. And it really becomes black and white at this point. And yes, I'm friends with a lot of people, but that doesn't mean that those individuals, I would ever hire them to be in those particular positions.
That's right.
Because I would not hire them for them to care for patients at the hospital. Why would I hire them, to be representing us? So that's really important, that we really look at what they bring to the table. And to your point, we hold them accountable.
Exactly.
So another point that I want to bring up is how strong our voice is as a community. Our voice is so powerful. And I look back a number of years ago where we had an administration who was looking to sell our sewer system that we have here. And we came together and we stood up and we campaigned, we educate the community. Well, guess what? We still have our sewer system. I mean, we were willing to sell it for pennies, where this was really bringing us revenue, revenue that would benefit the town. And that was all to balance the budget for that time.
Yeah.
Well, what happens, along the line? So those are the impactful decisions of how our voice collectively, when we come together, how collectively our voice is so powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Just a few years ago, we have an administration here in town that was looking to cut trees. And people realize trees are important. It's important for our environment. And again, the community came together, united with one voice. And guess what? The trees are here.
The trees are still here?
Yes, yes.
That's right.
Yes.
We are powerful in numbers. When you come together, and as you stated earlier, every vote counts. So you have to register. And then I think you have to vote, and this is part I'm unclear about, and you can probably help me out. You have to vote every year or every other year, or your registration or your registration gets deactivated or
Yes.
something like that. Is that correct? So can you talk
Yes,
about that a little bit? So
absolutely.
if you have not voted in 3 years, go register again, right?
Yes. Well,
So-
those are the games, again,
Yes.
games that are being played, right? We don't want those games being played.
Exactly.
So, therefore, what I say to everyone, vote every year. There's an election every year.
Exactly.
Whether if it is right now in Stratford, it's a local election where you're voting for your mayor, you're voting for Board of Education, planning, zoning, and other positions. So next year we're going to have a governor's race. So where you are voting for your governor. And along the way, you're also going to be voting for your state representatives,
That's right.
meaning your state senators, your state representatives, et cetera. Every year is an election. So I tell everyone, don't let your name be dropped off the list.
That's right.
Vote every time, vote every election. So
Exactly.
important.
And if you haven't voted, then you don't want to find out when you go to your polls
Yes.
and vote, and then it's like, oh, well, you're not registered. So if you haven't voted, I guess in a year or two, re-register.
Yes.
And then what about our youth? I
Well,
mean, what if?
not every state has that. We in
Okay.
Connecticut, we stand up. We have an amazing Secretary of State.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that she's fighting.
Great.
She's
I
fighting.
heard about that, and I
Yes.
just didn't know all the details, and I knew that you
Yes.
did. So
Yeah,
I
she's
wanted
fighting
to.
that. She's
Oh, good.
incredible.
Good.
And she is fighting that this issue of if you have not voted for 1 year and 2 years, that you are off the roll, and she's
Yeah.
fighting that tremendously. But we cannot take that for granted, and we cannot say, oh, we have a Secretary of State who's passionate, about the subject matter and being our voice and fighting for that. There are other states that if you don't vote in one election, your name is
You're knocked off? Oh, my
yes.
goodness, that's ridiculous.
So it really goes state by state, but we are staunch supporters. We have the League of Women Voters, which I'm proud to say that I'm part of. And these are the things that we fight day in and day out for, to make sure. But don't take it for granted. Vote every election, and always make sure that you are on the voter roll.
Exactly, and stay active. Now, what about, I just want to ask one question about our youth. What about our members or, citizens that just turned 18, like as of September?
Yes.
So they're eligible to vote.
Yes,
So
they
what
are.
do they need to do? If your
They-
birthday, you turned 18 as of September or maybe the first week of October,
Yes.
how long does it take to get registered? Where do you
can
go?
vote. You can vote. You go and you go right to your town hall. It doesn't matter which register of voter that you see. You go to town hall and you register and you can vote in this election.
Okay.
So I encourage for family members, parents, grandparents, caregivers,
everyone.
encourage them to really educate our youth about our democracy. I'll tell you, one thing that I'm very proud of, I am a grandma and I have 6 grandchildren. And if you say I look like I'm 30, you're my new best friend
29, how about me?
forever. But,
That is so important. So
Yeah.
now when they register, do they have to register as a party or do they
They
just
can.
register? So that is unclear to a
Yeah,
lot of folks
yeah,
that are
absolutely.
new. And people like me that grew up without the education of local
Absolutely.
voting.
Absolutely.
So,
Number one, I encourage all caregivers, whenever you go in to vote, bring your children or the younger generation with you. I bring my grandchildren
Okay.
with me when I go and vote. I sit them on my lap and we vote together and et cetera. To your point, in terms of do they register in a particular party?
Right.
You don't have to.
Okay.
You don't have to. You could be unaffiliated. The purpose of really registering within a party, it gives you the ability for you to vote during what's called a primary.
Okay.
So let's say if I'm running for a position, right? And within my party, there's other people that's also running for that position. So then now we have what's called a primary. So if I am a registered a
Democrat.
party, registered Democrat, then if it is the primary going on within my party, I get to vote.
Exactly.
Whereas if I'm unaffiliated, I can't vote, in that primary.
Okay.
So that's the only difference when you are registered within a party.
Okay.
And then when you're registered within a party, it shows your commitment to that party, right?
Exactly. I'm committed to my party, but I
Yes.
can't say who it is.
Absolutely.
At least not
Absolutely.
now.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's the difference, but you don't have to make, a lot of people have said to me, oh, I don't know which party I'm going to be in, so I don't want to register yet, da-da-da-da.
Yeah,
No, you
I've heard
could
that.
register as an unaffiliate.
Okay.
And as an unaffiliate, doing the general election, when you have, let's say, a Republican, a Democrat, or independent, you can vote for any of these individuals.
Exactly. There
So
you go.
when doing the general election, I could be a Democrat and I vote for Republican. I could be a Republican and I vote for Democrat.
And a lot of that happens.
Yes, absolutely. Some people
you know.
split their votes, and those are the informed voters. Those are the informed voters that really know the issues and know who's going to represent them best. And
That's
they're not
correct.
looking at whether you have a D behind your name, an A or I, whatever behind your name. They are voting for what you stand for. And they
Exactly.
are voting because they know that you're going to represent them well, So
That is
so with that
true.
said too, is really, as we're talking about this, we're not taking sides.
No.
We're just having a conversation. This is where respectful dialogue comes in. We have come to a point in our lives right now where there's so much disrespect and just really disrespectful conversations, around, because it's so charged.
It is. We are
Yeah.
in every aspect of life. I have experienced that disrespect.
Yes.
And we need to get back to, we can respect someone that we disagree with.
Absolutely.
We don't have to be
Yes.
rude.
Yes.
is one word I guess
Absolutely.
I could use.
The days where
yeah.
we could have a debate and then and we could say we agree to disagree. It's so
Exactly.
sad.
Yeah.
To see now everybody's in their corners and that
Yeah.
they're not having these respectful, educated conversations.
Even
So this is where I'm saying to everyone, make sure that you go to public forums, make sure you go to debate. Just yesterday
Yeah.
here in Stratford, we had a mayor's debate, between the two individuals who are running. Make sure you go and you listen to both sides and you make an informed decision.
Exactly.
But we can have these respectful conversations without being disrespectful towards each other.
I've seen families torn apart, and I just think that's just awful.
Yes, isn't it terrible?
It is, it
Now
really is.
families are torn apart because
Of a difference of opinion.
Yes, yeah. No, please don't do that.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah. So active participation is year-round. It is not just around election time. It is year-round. This is where you come in and you do advocacy work. You really go out and you make sure that you are educating others. You're educating your community. You're volunteering. If you believe in something that is very important to you, volunteer. Get to know more about that, whatever's going
Organization,
on.
whatever
Organization, absolutely. Participate in the council meetings. We have council meetings that's open to the public.
Yep.
We have Board of Ed meeting that's open to the public.
Those are really important if you have children in school.
Absolutely.
Yep. And you don't have to be, an elected official to be on a board.
Yes.
You can be a regular person. I was on the board.
Yes.
When my children were in elementary school, I was a board member.
Yes.
And I helped make decisions about the school
Yes.
that, affected my children.
Absolutely.
Like in school suspension. If you're an inner city and, a single parent
Yes.
and one of your children gets suspended
Yes.
and they're like 8, you got to take 3 days off work to stay home with them. So something like in school suspension may be important to you.
Absolutely.
Or whatever your issues are.
Yeah, and people, being part of the board, you have a voice and
That's
you are
right.
representing our community, you are representing other parents.
That's right.
And
That
you
can't
have first,
make it.
That's right.
Exactly.
And you have firsthand knowledge, and that's why it's so important, that people are engaged. Call your council people, call your Board of Ed individuals, let them know what you're passionate about. I was part of the curriculum committee here for many years here in Stratford. I love curriculum because I'm an educator, I teach. I love it, and I wanted to really be part of the process of improving our school system. So call your representatives, send them a letter, let them know that this is, you have the qualifications, and even if you don't have the qualifications, you can learn, and that's what volunteer work and being engaged and being empowered within your community.
Really all about. That's right. Believe me, everybody in my town, they know my phone number.
And that's a
the
good
mayor,
thing. Yes.
Everybody, hello, Mrs. Lambert.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's right.
And that's a good point you bring
is.
up, because, when they know you and they know that, this is an informed voter,
That's
an
right.
informed decision maker, an informed constituents, you care about your community, you care about what it looks like for your community
That's
to
right.
be effectively run, you get a lot of respect.
I was just going to say, they will respect you. I'm
Absolutely.
from Bridgeport, and I volunteer in Bridgeport, and this is where my heart is.
Yes.
But I live in West Haven, so I called my mayor, Borer.
Yes.
And that was on, I believe, a Friday. She was at my house Sunday morning.
Wow.
What she does in
Yes.
West Haven is, Sunday mornings is drive around because it's so calm and peaceful. Everybody's in their house and just see what's going on in neighborhoods, see if the streets have potholes or just whatever the heck it is she's looking at.
That's
and
beautiful.
I think that's amazing. And does she have my respect? Absolutely. And when I call her, she picks up the phone.
Yes, and that is so important.
It really is. So use it.
You do. I mean, I'm part of the Connecticut Nurses Association. I'm a part of a lot of organizations.
Yes, she is. And I love this woman. She is like the ultimate community leader.
So involved. But when I go up to the state capitol, I mean, it is wonderful for me to be able to know, our state representative by name.
Yep.
And in return, they know who I am by name. And why is that? It's because I'm engaged.
That's
and because
right.
they know that I care about my community. And when I raise an issue, they listen.
Yeah, they
And
know she
this
don't
is-
play. She does not play.
But to your point, this is where all of us, this is where we all should be,
Exactly.
Yes. So what I wanted to, also raise is that here in Connecticut, we have early voting.
Oh.
That is so important. So you do not have to wait until November 4th,
Okay.
for you to vote. As of October 20th, between October 20th to November 2nd, you could vote every day during that span period of time. Here in Stratford, it's at the Baldwin Center
Okay.
that you can go and vote. I believe it's from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. that you go and you vote. And I encourage you to take advantage of voting, early voting, because the lines are very short. I go in and within 5 minutes, I'm in and out. I cast my vote and I'm gone.
Exactly.
So you do not have to wait. You never know what's going to happen on November 4th. So I encourage everybody, please vote and please vote early.
Thank you. And if you vote early, if there's any issues, you find out early and you get to fix it, and then you can go back.
Absolutely.
And do it long before November 4th.
Absolutely. But once you vote early, you do not go and vote again.
Yeah, don't do it
that's
again.
it.
That's only if there's an issue and you can't vote. Then you have an
Absolutely.
opportunity to fix whatever it is you need to fix
Absolutely.
and vote.
Yes.
Sorry if I misstated that.
Yes, absolutely.
So we have about 2 minutes left. I
Yeah.
know you got some other stuff in there, so let's try to get to at least.
So I just implore everyone, find something that you are very passionate about and really get involved. But really, to really make an impactful of improving our community, it's really to be engaged. And part of that engagement, number one, is really getting out to vote. So I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come and speak to our audience here today. I am just always so blessed to be here, and please vote. And please, if you have any questions, I'm here. Feel free to give me a call. I love to talk if you haven't realized that, So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing this information. And I'm going to ask everyone that's watching, please share this information and take some of this information to heart. Take your children or your grandchildren to vote with you. I didn't know you could do that.
Oh, yes.
I am a grandmother too. We just had our first grandson the other day.
Oh, congratulations.
And so he's too young, but I could take my
Yes.
4-year-old granddaughter.
Yes.
And I could
Have
let
her sit
help
right
me
on your
vote.
lap. You could fill it out together, and then
Yeah.
you can put it together. Actually, I do it. I post it on Facebook. I'm proud.
And it won't be something that they need to learn as an adult. They won't already know it because they've been
Absolutely.
doing it. It's just like, learning to write or to read in school and everything. So that is
Absolutely.
wonderful. And my thing is, make sure that you registered your children, you
Yes.
teenagers, you young adults that just turned to 18. Please register and give yourself the option to vote or not vote. If you say, oh, I don't want to, because my sons are young and they're like, oh, your vote doesn't count. Your vote most definitely counts.
Yes, it does.
I know some people think it doesn't, but it definitely does.
Yes.
And that's the only voice that we have.
Yes.
It's the only voice that we have because we can't call the White House and say, President, I want my street fixed or whatever it is that you have. That's our voice is the only, our vote is the only voice that counts.
Absolutely.
I said that backwards, but
Yes.
you know what I mean.
Yes. Go out and vote.
Go out and vote. And if you have any questions, we have a computer in our hand, our telephone. You can Google your question and it will tell you what to do.
Absolutely.
If we didn't supply enough information because we only have 28 minutes.
Yes.
But I want to thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
again.
Thank you.
And sharing this information. And please come back and we'll do the other
Yeah.
topics, domestic violence. There's so much of
Yes.
that. I would love to do that.
Yes, breast
Okay, so
cancer
just let me know
awareness.
when,
Yes.
and we'll get it going.
Sounds
Okay?
good. All right.
Thank you very much, my friend. This is the David Goodman Reality and Truth Show, and we're on your side.